and a crazy dream and imagining. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. I think there's about at least 30 to 40 movies here. Hey everybody, it's the ASMR Ryan here, and today, in honor of October, we're going to be going through my entire movie collection. Now before we get started, I want to say a couple things. I have made movie collection videos in the past, and I thought I'd do an updated one because I keep getting requested. However, I haven't really had time to buy myself new movies, so most of this collection is going to be some repeats, but I thought it'd be fun for us to review them. Maybe my opinion has changed on some movies as we go through them, who knows. But that might be fun just to get different times. You have a bunch of movies on recommendations that I'm thinking of one of these movies every year. Just recently I'm getting again some of these started upgraded versions of the movies that bring a bunch of movie lit in that. And of course, with a bunch of movies coming out every single year, I'm sure I'm going to just end up buying more new movies I see and I like. We'll be going through each movie in alphabetical order. Below are going to be some timestamps for you guys to enjoy, just to a letter if you like to. All that being said, we're ready to get started, but I do have a question for you. What is your favorite movie? And do you have it in your collection? Do you even have a collection? Would you like to start a collection? Let's talk about it in the comments. I always love hearing from you guys. Alright, this is going to take a while. Let's get started. Starting with the beginning of my collection, A through C. Now, I'm also putting the numbers, but I will cleaner on the timestamps, putting A through C. So, why don't we get started with the first movie of my collection, as I hopefully don't topple this over. An underrated gem. Now, I know it's popular, but we're starting with 1408. Now, if you haven't seen 1408, I highly recommend it. John Cusack, and I was actually surprised to see Samuel Jackson in this movie. He plays a bit of a smaller role, but it is one of the first ever horror movies that I used to just rewatch all the time. It's one of my favorite movies of all time, and the Blu-ray even comes with alternate endings. Now, in my opinion, the alternate ending is way better than the theatrical ending. You'd have to check it out yourself, but this is most definitely a movie you guys should check out. I guess I'll do some 1 through 10s for these movies. 1408, man, you guys are gonna judge me hard, especially all the film bros in the comments, but I gotta go 8 out of 10 for this bad boy. It just holds a special place in my heart. I'm gonna go ahead and just create a second pile with the ones we went through over here. Now, next up we have, oh my god, Rob Zombie's 31. Now, this movie is puzzling to me. As a kid that grew up watching Rob Zombie's Halloween, Rob Zombie is definitely not everyone's cup of tea. He just makes the grimiest horror out there, I would say. It's definitely not for everyone in this movie. Cranks it up a notch for sure. So, kids, everyone out there, when I say recommend a movie or check out a movie, it's obviously speaking to the people that are old enough to watch said movie. So, I take no responsibility, and when movies in my collection may traumatize you. So, this one is horror, schlocky horror. Honestly, after I saw it, I was like, damn, I really bought this. I gotta go 3 out of 10. I don't know. It's not one of his stronger movies, and that's not my opinion, to be honest. Let's see. Next up, we have classic 28 Days Later. Now, 28 Days Later is a unique zombie movie. I think this is the first movie that made zombies truly terrifying, at least to me. And I'll be honest, a lot of these movies in my collection I haven't seen in a very long time. But this one's fun. You know what? It's very grungy looking. I think they filmed it on like an HD camera or something. Like the video is just not super great quality, but that was like a choice the director made, and I think it adds to it. It's a very grimy, dirty looking movie, and I think that's what they were going for with this. another movie I'd recommend. It's a Halloween classic. If you haven't seen it, check it out. It's definitely a good one. I also love Cillian Murphy. That guy can do no wrong. Alright, let's see. And stepping away from horror for the first time here, we have 22 Jump Street. Now, to me, I personally think that 21 and 22 Jump Street, I'll just bring 21 out because it should be here. These two movies are comedy gold, okay? I know they were looking at making a third one to complete the trilogy or something. I'm not sure exactly what happened. I think Channing Tatum recently came out in the last year or so saying that he'd be more than happy to come back to Jazz and do another one, but these two movies are hilarious. I prefer the first one a little bit more than the second one, but they're both really, really great movies. Definitely ask for mommy's permission first, because it is a little risque. Definitely check these out. Oh, I didn't give a rating. 28 Days Later, 7 out of 10. You know, not one of my favorites, but a classic. 21 Jump Street, honestly, 10 out of 10 for me. This is like a perfect comedy movie I'd show to anyone. 22 is getting a 9 out of 10. It's still amazing, but not as good as the first, in my opinion. And yeah, that could be a lot of my reviews, ratings, and this, but even like is on the studio. They got like 5 trillion miles to go through. This is a very last second 10 Cloverfield Lane. Now I love the Cloverfield movies. The and right now it was when Martin the first movie is perfect. It's not it's not pretty fun. 10 John Goodman is John Goodman on this side. Her character on that side. It's really fun. It's nice little story. Behind it, you guys are like, let's talk about it. See, it's the suspense of the movies where, you know, it's one of them, so it's the second thing. Check that one out. You love it. One of my favorites. Myself, it's one too. 8 out of 10. John Krasinski is directed the Lion movies. Like the first one, I saw the second one. It's always like I have no recollection, but personally, I liked it a lot. I think John Krasinski did a great job. It's just fun. I think idea for a movie. I think this idea of being able to make movies and monsters came out with like sound being the same triggers that had been done before. This one I think was done really well. Amazing performance. It's just also funny that John and Emily are married and alive. So I think that must have been fun filming this. R.I.P. Pam. I love you, Jenna Fisher, but I do love their relationships. Emily and Pam. So honestly, quite puts on this 7 out of 10. Again, great movie, but just not incredible movie. Just gonna make sure that it is right. There you go. Alright, sit down. Good. But I recommend it. If you haven't checked it out, I'm not gonna spoil anything. But John made a lot of decisions in that movie that were pretty ballsy. And he did a good job. A star born. Now, my mom saw this movie and ran to me and was like, "You gotta get this movie. You need to watch this movie." I saw a bunch of reviews on it, and people were saying it's one of the best movies of the year when it first came out. It won a lot of Oscars. Lady Gaga maybe even won Best Movie. It was nominated for one. I'm not sure. I'm sure they heard like the song "Shallow" from this movie. It wasn't on the internet, on TV when it first came out. So I recommend it. That was like music deals. It's not based on a person. I understand, but it's good for people to have process how a story 6 out of 10. It's not really like a movie. It's really hard for me to give a movie a bad rating. I can't. And the inspiration for all of my comedy of all time is this man named Gary. Now, both his Ventura movies actually came out before the Major Carl's. This one came first. I remember my brother on being that detective when I was younger, and I just fell in love with it. I thought the comedy was hilarious. I know Jim Carrey, especially age, it's Elaine. We're not really doing it. He just did a bunch of really silly faces, and I know a lot of people crap on millennials for doing the same thing. Like, that's our version of comedy, is like Irma Gern and all that stuff. Even though I'm technically Gen Z, I think. Damn it. I love these two movies. I grew up watching Jim Carrey. Both of these are really great. Pet Detective gets a 10 out of 10 for me. It's mainly nostalgia for me, for sure. Winning Sure Calls gets like a... I'm going to go with 7. I was going to say 8, but I think it deserves a 7 more. Both great movies. Again, love Jim Carrey. I think he's awesome. And yeah, I mean, if you're into some of that old school comedy, definitely give it a shot. Speaking of old school comedy, we have one of the classics, Airplane. Again, these are adult comedies. This one came out, it had to be like 90, right? 1980. 1980. Alright. Never mind, Leslie Nielsen is in this. I don't know why I thought 90s, but in 1980, Airplane came out. It is such good comedy. I feel like almost every Leslie Nielsen comedy back in the day is what like professional comedy should be seen as. All of the jokes are just really cleverly written. I feel like a lot of comedy nowadays, not saying it's bad, I just think it's a different level.
Right, Jay?
Comedy nowadays for me, I think
No.
of like This Is the End, which is probably one of my favorite comedy movies of all time. Which, before I say this, don't get mad, I like these comedy movies. But like This Is the End comedy is a lot of like misunderstanding, screaming at each other. Well, isn't this wacky comedy? Movies like Airplane and Naked Gun and all those other kind of old school Leslie Nielsen comedies, they were so well thought out and like pun based and just smarter, I think, while still being dumb, if that makes sense. It's a lot of slapstick, but again, I just think this is where Hollywood has been, in my opinion. Again, so my opinion is 10 out of 10. Airplane, incredible movie. Check it out if you haven't seen it. Rated R. So, okay, movie. It's rated R. Alright, let's see, next up. I'm going through some videotapes. Yes. Martini Ball. Ridgewood, American Psycho. Is like my dream role in a movie. I someday like to get shredded. I can't be tall. I'm doing how to do my own, but 8 feet tall. It is such an insane movie. Start showing you back. To me, it is probably on my top 5 all-time horror movies. And this movie, fun fact, was the first ever movie in gave it to me, and I fell in love with this movie. It's one of my favorites. I would highly recommend it for people who want some of that crazy, just unhinged, psycho horror. It's based off of a book. I've never read the book, but I'd like to. And it's Patrick Bateman is one of Christian Bale's best characters he's ever played, in my opinion. So I would say this is an easy 10 out of 10 for me. Easy 10 out of 10. Alrighty. Next up we have American Sniper. Now, I'll be honest, I've only seen this movie like twice, but it's a great war movie. I'm trying to get into more action/war movies, so if you guys have any suggestions, please leave them in the comments. But American Sniper is definitely a great one. I'd highly recommend it. Bradley Cooper did great in this movie, and it's obviously based on a true story. So if you guys are into more historical war movies that are based on real people, Bradley Cooper plays Chris Kyle, which apparently is a very, I don't want to say legend, but like he's honored pretty highly, I believe. I don't want to speak too much on that because I don't like getting too political and stuff. I know some people might have issues with Chris Kyle and the messages behind this movie, but in terms of like entertainment and just watching a movie for entertainment, separating whatever you may feel on the side, it's a great movie. I highly recommend it. Obviously rated R, but it's great. It's awesome. I think Amy Adams. No, it wasn't Amy Adams. It was someone awesome. Sienna Miller. She did amazing in this movie as well, playing Chris Kyle's wife. Stormy movies is a classic for sure. And Cool was my first signed movie. An American Werewolf in London. Now, this